Greetings to you all. This is Fitsum from Addis Institute of Technology at Ababa University. Today I'm going to present you the research article entitled as Integrating Sustainability Measures and Practices in the Ethiopian Industrial Parks from Review to Conceptual Model, co-authored with Dr. Eshetie Berhan from Addis Institute of Technology and from Nuremberg campus of technology, Germany, Professor Frank Ebinger. Thank you for the opportunity and for creating this platform to present our research findings and collect comments that can lead our researchers to the next level. So the research presentation mainly covers the following sections. We start with the introduction and give some background informations, and then we'll try to more give focus on the findings and discussions. Finally, we'll finalize with conclusion and recommendations of the research. So, as an introduction and background information, currently sustainability has been a quite important aspect for the world, and especially for in the business dynamics for companies, suppliers, and all in the supply chain actors and stakeholders. It has been a quite important pillar for the sustainable development of the firms. So what we mean by sustainability is basically it is having a skills and capability that the companies to structure their business process and to have a lasting performance in consideration of the three triple bottom lines that you can see it from the right side. We have the social part, the environmental part, and the economical part, as most of the literatures have written it. The sustainability is the central part where the intersection and the balanced growth exists within the social, environmental, and economical aspects. So at macro level, different workers, different researchers and reporters have been done, especially at country level, focusing on the sustainable development goals, targeting for the social aspects and the environmental aspects, and also the economical aspects has been quite done in the previous times. But currently the business dynamics is now pushing firms and stakeholders to integrate these concepts at the micro level, which is at the firms and at the company level. So in this regard, integrating the sustainability measures, specifically the social and environmental dimensions, are now key in deciding the future fate of the firms. This is because that previous business traditions have been focusing on the profit orientation and try to focus on building their economical growth. But the current competition is now go beyond that and pushing the companies to comply with the social and environmental responsibility as well. In this regard, integrating this sustainability at the firm level is very complex, and it is not as easy as looking it at the macro level, because firms have different operations and different stakeholders embedded inside the operations. And especially when we try to link it with the industrial parks or the industrial zones, this makes it more even complex, because industrial parks are agglomerations of different firms operating in a given demarcated area, and this makes things more complex because the nature of the firms is very different. They so have different operations, and their sectors also different. Even the strategy and the resource utilization is also different. So integrating in such complex environment is very more complicated than looking in a single company. So even though the industrial parks business model is go beyond to the economical aspects and touch the triple bottom line dimensions, but integrating the key measures and practices in each firm level is very complex and sensitive issue in regard to industrial parks. One thing is that industrial parks have become a popular instrument, especially in developing economies in the global south countries, because one reason is that IPs are aimed at attracting foreign direct investments and try to increase the firm investment, and also try to create more job opportunities. So these two strategic objective is the main objective for developing and operating industrial parks for countries. So in this slide, the World Bank Group have identified key requirements while operating in industrial parks. These are the park management performances, the environmental performances, and the social performance and the economical performance. These are key requirements in order to operate in industrial parks, and from these four parameters here, the three parts are the sustainability triple bottom lines, which are important requirements for the sustainable and survival of the firms in industrial parks. So learning this, the Ethiopian industrial parks, the government of Ethiopia targeted the industrial park as a major policy tool for the success of the growth and transformation plan. In this plan, which runs up to 2025, targets that the use of the industrial parks as the policy tool has been selected, and there has been a quite development in regard to the park development and operations. And firms have been trying to operate starting from 2014 and exporting products to Europe and other countries. With this, the issue of sustainability integrations in the firms is still a quite challenging issue, and it has been a quite challenging issue throughout the last couple of years in regard to the social aspect, economical and environmental aspects, in balancing all these triple bottom lines. Integrating the triple bottom lines, the economic, environmental, and the social aspect requires identifying and managing the important and key measures and practices for the firms. And this requires close observation and deep understanding of the operations, and what are the challenging issues, and how could these factors could be integrated, and what mechanisms could be used in order to integrate and create a balanced management system of these three bottom lines. So a general methodological approach in theory building have been used for this research. It bases the theoretical literature parts in line with the empirical review findings from the Ethiopian industrial park performance. In regard to the theoretical parts, key measures and practices from at the environment, economic, and social level have been identified. Then, learning from this, the Ethiopian industrial park performance were reviewed from different reports done, secondary reports, and also informal interviews from park stakeholders and company managers, and site visits of the model parks of the Hawassa industrial parks and the Bolilem industrial parks have been used. And in the next level is identifying the key influencing variables of the social, economical, and environmental aspect for the parks, and trying to draw what theoretical approach could be used in order to integrate the sustainability measures and practices within the operation of the parks. So I will quickly jump to the literature summary findings of the influencing key variables sourced from different authors. The economical aspects, there have been like the cost management, operational efficiency, supplier and customer issue have been quite influencing factors or measures at the economical level. Also at the environmental level, environmental management systems and responsible consumptions have been key important factors taken. Social aspect is emphasized on the health and safety, the human resource capability in regard to skills and satisfaction levels, and also salary and other benefits have been key measures at the firm level for social sustainability. In regard to suggested practices for building a sustainable performance at the economic, social, and environmental level, literatures have gotten different practices in different perspective way, and it's somehow dispersed, and we try to collect and identify the key ones and try to classify them as soft practices and technical practices. Here are summarized here in this table and with the source authors. Next, we specifically focus on our assessments or assessments of the industrial parks operation at the economical, environmental, and social level. From the findings, starting from the economical aspects, about key critical 4 issues have been observed from the last couple of years, and the first factor is the local supplier, absence of a local supplier. The factory efficiency has been a quite influencing variable for the economical performance. This is the productivity, the quality, and the delivery times have been a quite influencing variable. The other is infrastructure and administrative process has been quite attention and influencing variable. And the business model approach, that is that focus on the awareness and the working cultures and the business trend and the industrial characters of the Ethiopians with the investors coming from abroad, the multinational companies. Their business models have been quite influencing variable for the economical aspects. Also, causes have been identified as a cause and effect for the economical performance. In the same line, the social aspect have been also tried to be observed in a close way. It has been found that the social factor has been a quite important issue for the parks, and there have been a quite challenging issue compared to the environmental, also compared to the economical aspects, because there have been a challenge related to work satisfaction problem. Motivation and ownership has been quite important aspects. The salary and the wage problems, the health and safety, communication problems, and work ethics and discipline problems have been a quite influencing variables for the social part, affecting the social sustainability. This in line also influences the economical aspects, also try to minimize the economical growth, because because most of the companies are the light manufacturing industries and garments and textile, and which needs more labor intensive workers. So if the social sustainability performance is very low, this will actually affects the other, especially the economical sustainability performances. At the last part, which is the environmental part, there has not been such a quite challenging issue, but lately there has been some issues related to technical capability and competency related to managing the environmental management systems related to certifications, especially the ISO 14001, ISO certifications of environmental management system, and some technical approach of managing on the equipment, especially the zero liquid waste management. So as an example, we can consider the Hawassa industrial parks. So there has been a limited capability and low technical capability of managing the technology in this regard. Of the local technology capability is very low, and there is also low level of awareness of companies, which needs more intensive training and create adequate awareness programs. And the issue of certifications and creating eco-friendly products is also an important aspect that has been taken in the environmental performance. So based on the cause and effect analysis, the measures have been customized and here summarized as a social part, having all the factors. Also, the environmental factors have been here summarized in a generic form. Also, the sub-variables also identified here. This also goes to for the economical aspects, which are also summarized here. That identifies the key influencing measuring variables for the economical aspects. So after identifying these measures and practices, the soft and technical practices in line with the key influencing variables of at the environment, social and economical level, the next part is how are we going to integrate these practices and measures. So the usual way of strategy is will not fit here because the industrial park is very dynamic and complex operations are there. So this requires a new approach or dynamic capability approach that firms should always try to loop or sense new practices, new measures, and also try to seize them and try to transform them at the operational level. So the so-called dynamic capability approach have been identified as an important strategy from learning from the theoretical aspects of literature. So it is the ability to sense, seize, and transform opportunities related to sustainability issues and attain balanced economical, social, and environmental performance. So from this, here a conceptual model has been drawn, which identifies the dynamic capability as a central strategic approach, where the firms try to sense, seize, and transform opportunities related to sustainability, try to sense them, try to seize them, and try to transform them into operational level. So issues of sensing such practices as environmental and social practices, eco-design and certifications, green branding and promotion, having a standardized and flexible working system, and seizing through training, creating awareness programs, and through customer and suppliers relationships, and also creating a communication platform, seize it and transforming it through technical approach such as lean and green tools will lead to social capability, environmental capability, and economical capability, which then leads to more economical, environmental, and social performance at all the triple bottom lines. So from this, final conclusion is and recommendation is given that the Ethiopian industrial park operation should be framed as a systems incorporating sustainability measures and practices, and should incorporate sustainability variables, ultimately allowing for the operations to achieve a sustainable development in all the triple bottom lines. But these issues will not be alone done by the firms only, but a complete stakeholder collaboration is needed from the park management, and park management system should contribute to social, environmental, and economical awareness and knowledge within the stakeholders and the employees. Thank you for your attention.